Right. Hello and welcome to our 3-day Tribe Sober Reset program. And it's day number one. It's 3 p.m. And wow, what a day it's been. I'm so incredibly happy that you've chosen yourself. You've backed yourself. You're making yourself your own hero. And we all need a hero in our lives. And you know who's better than being our own? Because that way we know what we need, we know what we want. I firstly want to thank Janet for um, enabling me to do this. And I wouldn't have been able to even remotely entertain the thought of sitting here in front of anybody 15 months ago, doing what I've been doing this week simply because my mind was way too foggy. My potential, I had no potential because the only potential I had was opening a bottle of whiskey. That was all that mattered, was to hear that crack of a new bottle opening, and that for me was how my day went. It was the most important thing, and I'd be high functioning in a very competitive world. Uh, I got things done that people said you'll never be able to do. I was that kind of gal, pretty much like all of us, because a lot of us that drink, we all pretty much get our energy and we get what we're doing on a high level. And we're competitive in that workspace. It's how we prove to ourselves that we're okay. We don't have a problem. Well, I most certainly didn't have a problem. Me, a problem with drinking? Are you crazy? Do you see me sitting on the park bench with a bottle in a red paper bag? I didn't have a problem. Yeah. Well, I guess that's part and parcel of number one when we're talking about our first step of recovery is really admitting that we do have a problem. And when we get down to honesty, like we've done today, it sometimes can get a little rough. And sometimes when we open those kind of doors that we haven't gone through for a long time, um, we don't like what's on the other side. The only way to get through that is to get to the other side of the fear. Everything we want, every single thing we want is on the other side of fear. So put fear away. Even if you have to write it in a note to yourself, I have a problem. I have a drinking problem, and you write it 10 times. Just acknowledge that we have a problem. Then what we're going to do is turn that problem into an opportunity. That opportunity is amazing. We find new jobs, we find new relationships, we find everything that we didn't think was possible because we're thinking, we've got clarity, we've got joy, we've got so many other things. The other thing is um, when you realize that your problem can turn into the opportunity, as I've just said, for me, that was like unlocking a dark cupboard. And we always think to ourselves, if only I had an opportunity to do that. Nobody gives me a break. I could do that. You know, we put the word opportunity onto other people. If I had the opportunity, I would be able to be that person in the driver's seat at the boardroom. If I had an opportunity, I would be able to make enough money to drive that car. If I had an opportunity, and we keep pushing it elsewhere, the opportunity starts with us. It starts right here with us. And when we create our own opportunities, the magic happens. And we can't do that until we've done some work. And we started today by doing some work by looking for our whys. And all that I read today, across the board, 3 whys stood out. unfortunately, once again, I'm going to have to read. Three things stood out for me in everybody's that was common in most of the things that were sent to me was health, relationships, and work. Let's take health. I'm going to tell you right now that I had a health problem, that I refused to admit that I had a health problem. Because if I admitted I had a health problem, I would have to go to the doctor. The doctor would then tell me I would have to have maybe an operation or a procedure. All of that in my head took away my drinking time. I didn't have time for this rubbish. 15 months later, I'm in deep recovery. I've had the time of my life. I've had my procedure that had to be done, which 15 months ago I didn't even look into. And my road to recovery should have been X amount of time. It's way shorter because I don't have alcohol in my system. So the benefit there is clear. It's absolutely clear. Health, mental health first. Let's talk about mental health. With clarity, when that fog goes and you have clarity, your memory comes back. So in all the whys that I read today was this, I can't remember. I can't think. I know what I want to say, but I can't connect my brain and my thoughts to my words. Clarity of mind and word becomes a shield. It becomes a cloak that you wear. It's a superpower because suddenly you can articulate your thoughts with clarity, which takes me to the workplace. Because when you are at work and you have a hangover and you have that horrible dry mouth, and you suck in the peppermints because God forbid that one person in the boardroom or that girl sitting next to you smells alcohol in your breath. That's big trouble for HR. All sorts of things. I'm in the tourism industry. I go to the most beautiful places in Cape Town, showing off my lovely city. And I'm standing around with other guides, and I'm walking past somebody that is wearing a badge. And as I walk past, I'm thinking to myself, uh-oh, maybe I should give him or her a peppermint because I can smell the brandy on the breath. Now, if that person was driving and got pulled over the next morning, because you can see by the face, we know the look, the red eyes, the puffiness, there's a bravado about the person in that situation when you just really are struggling to keep it together. So you put on this persona, your identity slips because you don't actually know who you are anymore. If that person got pulled over by a traffic cop and said, let's do a breathalyzer, and they've been drinking the night before, they've been drinking so much, they would lose their license the next day. So it's alcohol affects all our professionalism. It affects absolutely everything. The other thing in the workplace that people were saying was, I've just got a promotion and I know that I'm not pulling my weight. I know I'm letting my team down. I know I can do better. I just can't shake it because I get home, and the minute I get home, the bra comes off, the shoes come off, and the bottle gets opened even before the handbag comes off the shoulder. So, what are we going to do about that? We know what it is that we want to do. We know what we have to do. When we decide that we want to give up, like you have, and you hear, I think half the battle is won because you're here. There's a whole lot of work to do ahead, a whole lot of work to do to get to the point where you can sit in front of somebody and say, I'm alcohol free for 6 months. I'm alcohol free for 3 months. I knew on day 3 I was desperately wanting to live the life that I've just experienced for the first time in a very, very long time. My sleep pattern. I have fewer regrets. I have a calmer mornings. I am clear of mind. My energy level is, I think I can honestly say I haven't had energy like this in years. It's off the charts. Um, Finding a tribe. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? But I did find my tribe. And before we started this podcast, Janet put up a post, a little clip on our WhatsApp group saying, I said, I said, I didn't know. I found a community I didn't know I needed. Let me tell you guys, I worked on my own. I'm a loner. I drank alone. I could go off to the movies alone. As long as whatever I was doing wasn't bothering my drinking time. The minute I realized that I could not stay sober without this community, a community is like-minded, non-judgmental people. They are the people that have gotten me through this period of time. They are the guys that can turn around and say to me, "Hey, Lynn, you haven't been at a Zoom meeting for a week." And we have, what do we have, Janet? 5 meetings a week. And the minute I missed 2 meetings, my tribe were on me like a bad rash. Are you okay? Not, what's wrong? Have you drank? Nothing like that. Are you okay? It was the most incredible friends that I've had since my childhood. Don't do that. They don't know me half as well as my tribe does. They know my warts and all. But the caring and the solidarity between us is incredible. And it's something that I would take to the grave with me. And I got this when I ditched the booze. This is the community that I've got. And it is something that I would fiercely protect. As I will protect it as fiercely as I protect my peace that I have now that I'm not drinking. So it was work. And the other thing that I found in the wise was relationships. People are battling while they're drinking in relationships. Yes, of course we are, because we're argumentative, we're always right. We'd much rather argue for 5 minutes so that we can go back and pour another drink than have a discussion for a half an hour and end it in a loving way or end it in an understanding way. So when I think it must have been about month 3 into I did reset program. After the reset program, I decided to do a program with the tribe called Accelerate. And I was halfway through my Accelerate program when my son, who's now 35, came up to me and he said, "Hey, Mom, I've always been your #1 fan, but my golly, are you my inspiration right now? You are just flying. You look amazing." By the way, he also said to me, I think it was 3 weeks into the program when I opened the front door for him to come in. He was visiting and he said, "Wow, Mom, you look great. You're not so puffy anymore." What? The honesty. He never told me that while I was drinking. He told me afterwards. It changed our relationship. We talk about lots of things because I'm awake. So ditching the booze is incredible. I'm asking you please to continue researching your whys, continue asking yourself what my life would look like if I wasn't drinking. What's holding me back here? What is holding you back? What was holding me back was my arrogance And I had no knowledge of what alcohol was doing to me. But we're going to talk about the effects of alcohol, I think, tomorrow. Um, the other thing I want to say to you guys before I close is don't worry about what other people say. This is about you. This has got nothing to do with anybody else, only you. You are the most important person. It's 3 days of your life. 3 days where you are number one. And ladies, we're not used to that. We always put everybody else first. We have to put ourselves first to do this. If you want this bad enough, put yourself first. Write it down in your diary really big. Me first. Get up in the morning in a positive form, in a positive way. On Wednesday, I will talk to you about how to start your day properly. And it's so much fun. It's setting up yourself for the next day and the next day and the next day. And I learned this through the Accelerate program. I want you to draw a roadmap. In the middle, just write why. And draw your different reasons. Physical health, mental health, finance, your wealth, your financial wealth. What else did I write down? Relationship, and then write husband, children, friends. And as you go through it, write more, dissect it more and make it more and more achievable. These whys will become so clear, it'll stop the noise in your head. At the moment, everything, when you're drinking, everything is just, it's like a tsunami in your head. It's just clashing and crashing, and the noise is so loud. You've got to just put it all in a sort of sphere around the word why. And every day tackle one thing. At work today, I'm going to I'm going to listen more and say to you, and why? Because I'm listening more because I can hear now, because I don't drink. And before I close off and we open up this lovely Zoom meeting, which I'm so happy you're here for, I want to say one more thing to you is plan. Plan ahead. Please plan ahead. Every day from 3 o'clock, you have to know what it is. Sorry, that's my gangster cat going across my desk as usual. This is my director. Whoops. Um, um, you've got to plan what you're going to drink. You've got to plan what you're going to drink because that's the most important. Your hand wants a glass of something in it. Your brain wants that motion to happen. Keep the glass, change the contents. I think, Janet, we have a saying there, don't we? That I can't remember. Keep the
Yes, we
glass.
say keep the ritual, change the ingredient.
There we go. There we go. Keep the ritual, change the ingredient. Guys, we're going to open up the floor for you to ask Janet, myself, anything you want. Let's talk about whys and let's be brave. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Lynn. That was lovely. I just want to, before I go on to gallery view and stop recording, I just like to reiterate something that Lynn said because it was so important. And she explained to you guys that you've taken the hardest step, really. You've done the most difficult thing, which is to accept that, yes, there might be a little problem here, and then to look for someone like us who can help, and then to show up and to be on a WhatsApp group. And you guys have taken it one step further in that you've come to Zoom and you've shown your faces, and that is huge. And nothing that you do over the next few weeks or few months will be quite as difficult psychologically as that. Everything else is down to techniques and strategies, and you've got us to help you with that. So I just wanted to say well done. And at this meeting, we've got a lovely mix of tribe members and newbies. So I think we'll do intros. I mean, my intro on Tuesday, I'm going to make a presentation to you and tell you more about our Accelerate program. But and in that presentation, I'll share my story. But in a nutshell, I struggled with alcohol for the whole of my 50s. I spent the whole of my 50s trying and failing to cut down. I never thought of giving up completely. How would that even work? But it was miserable and I felt like a failure and I was depressed. I just couldn't get this thing organized. Eventually, at the grand old age of 63, I managed to quit. And I'll tell you how I did that on Tuesday. That's my little trailer. So please be there. And as a result, I felt so much happier and healthier that I became quite passionate about the benefits of alcohol-free living. So I decided, my background is in corporate and training and development and coaching. So I decided to transfer those skills to a community, and I set up Tribe Sober. So I transferred, I knew how to create a training course, for example. So I did that. That was the first thing that I did. And then people would come to the courses and they'd say, but we want to stay connected. So I set up a membership so that they can do that. And anyway, it grew and it grew. And the beautiful thing about Tribe Sober for me has been that I thought people would come and hang out with us and get sober and say, thank you very much and go away again. And indeed, quite a few people do, and that's fabulous. But quite a significant number of people have got so attached to the community that it kind of feels like family now. And I've been doing this for a decade, and we've got people that we've got so close to, as Lynn explained, and they want to stick around and they want to pay it forward because they're also, as you can tell from Lynn, quite passionate about the joys of sobriety. So we've made those people what we call Tribe Sober ambassadors. And we've got some cheerleaders as well. And those people are paying it forward and still having a benefit from being in our community. So that's my little story. I will elaborate more on Tuesday and tell you how I did it. But for now, I'm going to stop recording because we want to protect your privacy.